Now from Wish TV, this is Countdown to Kickoff, Indy 11.
After coming up minutes short of a USL Championship appearance last year, the Indy 11 had high hopes for 2020 and started things with a bang.
There's a shot and a goal by Indy 11.
But the brand new season was put on hold after a single game due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, obviously it's a unique challenge. It's not something that I've ever had to face before.
Now, the boys in blue are ready to get back on the pitch.
We want to still go and win this championship and, just show that we're still hungry.
Over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you ready for a season restart.
And the smoke billows.
Indy 11 Countdown to Kickoff starts now.
Hey, good evening to you, and welcome to Countdown to Kickoff, everybody. I'm Anthony Calhoun. We are the home, of course, for Indy 11 soccer, and over the next 30 minutes, we will get you ready for the return of USL soccer as the boys in blue look to pick up where they left off in early March when they started the season with a 4-2 win that is, at Memphis. Our Olivia Ray has more on how the guys have stayed ready.
Here comes Indy 11 with a shot and a goal on the turnover.
Go win the championship, go win the league. That was our aim. So I was like, this year is it.
Just like that, Indy 11 takes the lead.
Just one match into the Indy 11's 2020 campaign, they hit pause and they waited. But after 3 months of limbo, the boys in blue are back at it.
We're just happy that there's a season coming up. For us in Indy, we've got a really good team now. It's taken a little bit of time to build it. So we really don't want to miss the opportunity to showcase that.
Unlike professional athletes in every other sport everywhere else, the boys in blue held the fort down right here in the Circle City. Because with a roster made up of over 9 different countries, their only option was to stay ready together.
We're one of the teams that kept everybody together, and I think that's been really important because it's given us a lot more lead time to train together, where some teams probably haven't had that.
It's a difficult one because we're over here and we don't have our loved ones or our families, and it's not probably the most ideal situation because you want to be out on the pitch play, and the problem would be is getting back into America because I'm not a citizen.
For Patty Barrett, the youngest of 11 kids, being away from his big Irish family back home was tougher than expected. But as it turns out, when you're stuck with your entire team, they sort of turn into family.
12 of us live in the same apartment complex. So we've been able to be together as a team, which has been fantastic. We've been able to do different things. We've been able to get to know each other better. Now that we're back training, it shows.
There it is.
I honestly can't imagine that other teams are going to be in a better place than we are. Like the attitude, the fitness, the strength of the players is as high as it could possibly be.
The silver lining of quarantining together, it only makes you stronger. Olivia Ray, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Olivia, thanks a lot. As teams and the league prepare for a return to action, the USL issued new training protocols to expand training outdoors. Coaches can also provide technical instruction, and weight room facilities have been open. Despite the strict guidelines, the boys in blue are just glad to be back on the pitch.
To get back out there and to be able to work with the players again, it's just been kind of a reminder of how much I enjoy doing it, and I think probably for the players a little reminder of how good it is to do something you love for your job. So I think we've learned not to take certain things for granted in this last little period of time. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The players have looked fit and strong and enthusiastic and ready.
It's a good group of guys, a driven group of guys that we want to win, and we want to win now. So we know that if it's a 16-game season or a 20-game, no matter what it is, we all have the same purpose, and that is to win. And that's been our common goal. So anything we can to be fit.
Okay, so here's how the season is going to look for the boys in blue. Home games will be played at Lucas Oil Stadium. The regular season will go from July the 11th through October the 4th. Yeah, they got a 16-game schedule, folks, and then you see Group E. We're going to talk more about that here on the show tonight. Louisville, St. Louis, and you see Kansas City there in that Group E there. Busy few months coming up for Indy 11. Okay, time for a break, but much more still ahead here as our Indy 11 season preview continues tonight. Up next, I'm joined, in studio with the voice of the Indy 11, Greg Rickstraw. He joins us. That's next. All right, folks, welcome back here to Indy 11 season preview special. I'm Anthony Calhoun. Joining me now, the man you will hear all season long on Wish TV and Mighty TV Channel 23. We are talking about, of course, the voice of the Indy 11. You all know the face here, Greg Rickstraw, join us here tonight. And man, the season is here. We go way back, to March, when they got off to a really good start there in that one game when you think about it. But how excited are you to get the season back going to where this team, for the most part, a lot of enthusiasm about this team?
I got fired up just being in here with you and literally having the frame of Kickoff and that select soccer ball. I'm like, finally, we're about here, because honestly, it was the same break from the playoff match, which you showed in the Open, the Eastern Conference final against Louisville last year. 4 months, not to the day, but basically from that match to March 7th in Memphis. And now we're 4 months removed from that, and a week from now, the Indy 11 get back to playing. And this has all the earmarks of being a special season. Last year's Indy 11 was really good. I think this team is even better. Scoring 4 goals against Tim Howard last time out in Memphis to get that season opening victory. This can be a special campaign. I'm just happy we're playing, period, but I think there's great things that can be achieved by this team.
No doubt, without a doubt, you have to say that this team, as loaded as have you seen in as far as a club overall in the years?
Absolutely. Last year, I think you could say that about last year's team. Maybe it was the best team in club history, and I think this team can take it a step further. They went out and got a couple of really talented young players to make the jump up from League One up to playing at the USL Championship level. We saw Cam Lindley in the package in the last segment. Great to have the local product. That was a Garing Catholic young man, as well as played collegiately at North Carolina. To have a guy like Carl Haworth that spent the last 6 years in Ottawa and come and kind of solidify that right side, where the left side, because the guys like Pasher and Jose have been so good. This is the deepest team we have had in now these 7 years of Indy 11 soccer.
Well, there is no doubt here in this situation. The road's not going to be easy for Indy 11. Of course, this year the USL they're going to split up into 8 regional groups. Indy 11 in Group E. Take us through that, and just as far as how competitive that's going to be for this team.
Once we all realized that you simply could not play all 34 matches, there was not going to be enough time to do that. It's like, okay, how do you divide? And you try to divide into groups where, in theory, you're taking bus trips the majority of the time. So you knew that however you sliced it, Indy and Louisville were going to be in the same division. And that for as good as Indy is, Louisville is obviously the target. And knowing 30 seconds away from beating them 1-0 in the conference final a year ago and then losing in added time. And you kind of probably put 2 and 2 together that St. Louis and Sporting Kansas City were also going to be in that group. And St. Louis was a team that Indy lost at St. Louis in the season opener a year ago before beating them here at home last August. And because the way the divisions are aligned, AC, 12 games of the 15 remaining are against the teams that we showed you on screen. So 4 matches against all of those. There's probably at least a match against Pittsburgh there too, and Pittsburgh, a really solid team every year. So the Indy 11 will play as tough of a schedule as any team will in the USL Championship this year. The good news is, from that group of 4 teams that we showed you on screen, 2 will make the playoffs. Favorites are likely Indy and Louisville out of that group.
Okay, so let's talk about the playoffs and the postseason. Let's go through that format. Give me your take on that, and what do you like about it and what you don't like about it?
Well, the playoffs were less changed than we saw the regular season was. The regular season is curtailed from 34 to 16. The playoffs only lost 4 teams. So the playoffs last year were 20, 10 in each conference. And then after the 7-10 game, the 8-9 game, it's the exact same format that you see here. So as negotiations behind the scenes were going on, there was maybe a thought we would see more regular season games and less playoff teams. Instead, we see a shorter, quicker regular season, but the playoff format, other than leaving out 4 teams, largely goes unchanged. Again, you have to be in the top 2 in your division to advance on. No third place, fourth place, or fifth place teams in the division will continue on.
Okay, so the good news for Indy 11, the first game, it counts. So that's
right.
The bonus there for Indy 11. From what you saw and how they kicked off this season, what can they take away from that match?
Well, first of all, don't get down 2-0. And that is very rare for a Martin Rennie team. But to put it in perspective, this is the first time in the history of the Indy 11, again, this match back on March 7th was the first time ever that the Indy 11 got 2 goals down and came back to win the match. That just doesn't happen. So my guess would be, because of the defensive philosophy of Martin Rennie, there's not going to be many times that this team finds themselves down by 2 goals or allows 2 goals. But knowing that if you do, this team has the potency to go put 4 in the back of the net against one of the best to ever play in this country in Tim Howard, it's nice to know you got that in the bag if you need it.
So, we talked about last year, and last year, no doubt, their best season in franchise history. From what you see on paper and what you've seen in practice, how far can this team go? Can they win it all?
This team can win it all. There's no doubt about it. Again, there are, Louisville is outstanding. Pittsburgh is outstanding. Depending on how the playoffs are bracketed and formatted, a team like Miami FC, I think is going to be really good, coming also from the Eastern Conference. Out west, the favorite would be Phoenix, who had by far the best record in the league overall a year ago. I think most people would tell you, Indy, Louisville, you just kind of put them at the top of the league at this point, and it goes from there.
All right, and so the good news is this: we got soccer.
That's right.
Ready to go next week, Lucas Oil Stadium. I know you're going to be fired up about that as well.
I'm exceedingly fired up about it, and the one thing that I would say is this as well. In the past, it's been all home games and then selected road games and all playoff games. Well, because of the condensed schedule, if the Indy 11 are playing, you're going to see it right here on Wish TV or on My Indy TV. Yeah. So we got at least 15 soccer matches left to go between now and October, and hopefully a lengthy spell in the month of October as well.
And as far as coach, he seems to be so composed. How fortunate is Indy 11 to have a coach like this?
Well, Martin is a guy that literally has coached around the world. His last coaching stop before being with the Indy 11 was in Seoul, South Korea. He has coached at every rung of the North American, soccer ladder, so to speak. Vancouver in Major League Soccer, North Carolina, previously in this league. He's cool until he doesn't have to be on match day. And I'm still impressed by the leap he had on Pasher's goal against Howard that we showed on the highlights from back in March. So he now is the longest tenured head coach we've had with the Indy 11.
Which is good. Yeah.
Exactly. This being the third year, that's a sign right there, the stability he's helped bring to this franchise.
Okay, you guys know the voice. You can hear him all the time talking about Indy 11 right here on Wish TV, calling the match coming up next week. And fans, we got some good news for you coming up later here on the show. Thank you so much, Greg, for your time. Time for a break. When we come back on our Indy 11 preview special, our Charlie Clifford goes one-on-one with Indy 11 team president Greg STREMLAW. The new details on how the league saved the 2020 season next. Welcome back to our Indy 11 season preview. Anthony Calhoun here with you tonight. Now we pivot to a conversation with Indy 11 team president Greg STREMLAW, who played a key role in keeping the 2020 USL season alive. Our Charlie Clifford delivers those details and where we go from here.
Finally, some football.
Pasher's in, and Pasher finds the back of the net.
And that's in part to the last 4 months. One voice in Indy working inside some of the most important meetings in all of sports.
There were 5 of us that were appointed from the sport of soccer nationally to a national COVID-19 task force. A lot of interaction and liaising with the heads of other leagues like NBA and NHL and NFL.
Indy 11 team president Greg STREMLAW helping lead the United Soccer League's restart, the compromise, cut the regular season by more than half, but keep the championship trophy legitimate.
The feeling was 16 matches plus would be able to get us to that integrity standpoint, which is really important to the clubs around the country. I think 2020 overall will have a proverbial asterisk next to it as a year just for everything that's gone on.
With the USL set to return to play on July 11th, the current COVID-19 restrictions here in downtown Indianapolis align well with the Indy 11's plan to have fans in the stands this season. Currently behind the scenes, Lucas Oil Stadium being outfitted with key changes that you're going to recognize right when you walk in.
Temperature checks going on in the venue. We've got staggered entry and exit times. We've got plexiglass and infrastructure improvements throughout Lucas Oil Stadium, including touchless washrooms and all sorts of things that have been done during COVID-19. I actually think Lucas Oil Stadium will be the safest place in the entire state of Indiana.
The Brickyard Battalion knows this too. The boys in blue stacked.
There's only one spot on the podium that we want to be. We think we have all the assets in place. We have every intention to win it all, and we don't plan to stop until we do.
Goal number 2. STREMLAW's vision is simple. Stay safe and give 11 fans the celebration they need in 2020. Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
All right, Charlie, you're right about that. Okay, time for a break. Up next, how has the coronavirus pandemic affected marketing for the Indy 11? Senior Director of Communications and Marketing, John CALHOUN. He joins me in the studio to discuss that and more when we return. All right, we're back here on our Indy 11 season preview special. Anthony CALHOUN here with you tonight. Joining me now is the Senior Director of Communications and Marketing for Indy 11, John CALHOUN, joining us here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And
thanks for having me.
Let's get to the big news here tonight regarding fans. Are they going to be able to go to these games?
Fans will be allowed in the stands, and that's because of a robust safety and health care plan that we have worked on in concert with Lucas Oil Stadium, Capital Improvement Board, more health organizations than you can count on one hand. So we are excited we're at that point, and we could responsibly allow fans back into the stadium when games start up next Saturday.
All right, so fans getting the opportunity to check out Indy 11 in the stands at Lucas Oil Stadium. Let's talk about the ticket situation, because I know that was probably a headache for you guys, but take us through that. What is the process with the tickets and people who have season tickets as well?
Well, it's kind of two buckets. For those who have tickets, especially season tickets, there's plenty of options. You could roll those into additional tickets for games this year. We've upgraded our partial half-season plans to full status, season ticket member status for this season. We'll also be introducing a 6-ticket flex pack that will replace those plans. So it's your classic voucher program. 6 tickets, you can go to 6 games once, 1 game with 5 buddies, however you want to divvy those up. So those, as well as single game tickets, if not on sale already by the time this is on Saturday, will be available very shortly into the week.
Okay, so that's interesting news there. It's good to let folks know what's going on with that. Let's talk about as far as health-wise here, and just I know you're very cautious about that situation. Take us through for fans what it's going to be like for them trying to attend these games.
Well, we have 4 pillars. It's social distancing, it's personal safety, it's cleanliness, and distance. So, reducing the physical contact points from the moment you drive into the parking lot. We will be socially distancing cars in the parking lot. You will be seeing signage as you stand in the ticket queue outside. Doors will be open as you get ready to go in. Touch point or touchless ticket scanning, staggered entrances into the venue. Increased seating distance, that would be every other row unsold, and you'll have 4 seats in between your groups. So while the entire 100 and 200 levels will be open, we're using that space as much as possible to allow for as many fans inside the building in a responsible fashion. So we'll be able to have a good-sized number thanks to the size and really the way Lucas Oil is set up.
Okay, interesting there. And of course, safety is the #1 priority here, right?
Absolutely. Everywhere you go, from concession stands, bathroom lines, we're really trying to make sure that fans are going to feel comfortable from the moment they get to the stadium, from the moment they leave, everywhere in between. The biggest part of that is every fan over 4 must wear a mask. And you will see everyone from the press box level in the highest point of Lucas Oil Stadium down to the players and coaches on the sidelines who are not in the game wearing masks.
Okay, so you guys are ready to go. We're ready to go, of course. Wish TV, the home of Indy 11. John, thank you so much for your time. Great to see you as always, and good luck to the boys in blue. All the best the rest of the season. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.